and produce. I mean, it's like where the rubber meets the road, right? So meat and produce, how to save, how to get some deals. Are there coupons? Let me just answer that one. No, you're not really going to find a lot of big savings on meat and produce in terms of pieces of paper to use at the register for some discounts. But there are ways to save on meat and produce. So that's where I wanted us to go tonight. I am 100% okay with any questions that are off topic as well, though. So if there's something in particular that you have been trying to figure out how to cut in your grocery budget or even your household budget, ask away. Leave your questions in the comments, and between myself or my husband, one of us will make sure that I do not miss them and that I can answer them for you. So our goal is to save on every single thing that we are purchasing. And meat and produce can feel, for most of us, it's really a large chunk of what you're grabbing at the grocery store. Definitely for folks who are trying to, eat healthy, stay away from canned and packaged. So you're just doing that outside edge of the grocery store. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of savings there, but there is. So we're going to try to hit that. Obviously, there's ways to save on everything in the grocery store, right? That's our goal. So first off, I do want to emphasize that even meat and produce follow sales cycles. So making sure that you're still following like the cardinal rule of Southern Savers, of anyone that is truly, in a sense, couponing, but really what you're doing is following the sales. So I'm not going to walk in and just grab whatever meat I might want to eat this week. I'm going to focus on what is on sale. I'm going to try to stock up on what is on sale so that I have enough in the freezer. Once I've got it in the freezer, then I really could eat whatever I wanted to eat this week, right? But if you're just getting started, I am not going to meal plan just from a whim. This is what I'm craving this week, because the odds of you wanting it and it's just not going to work out. It's not going to be on sale. So not how we want to meal plan. Really want to sit down, figure out what meats are on sale this week, plan around that, stock up on those so that this week maybe we do eat a lot of chicken. Maybe that's what's on sale. We get some extra chicken though to help get us past just this week. Next week, maybe hamburgers on sale, maybe some sausages on sale. We can add that in with some of the chicken that we put in the freezer, adding some of that to the freezer too. So slowly you're going to build up some extra things in the freezer. That's the goal. Then you can start to meal plan beyond this week's meat sale items. That's just following the sales. No, there are not coupons to pair with that, but that alone is significant. You're talking for most meat sales, it's a discount of $2 a pound on just your basic meats, on some other more fancy cuts or fancy types of fish. It could be an even more significant savings on those items in our main grocery stores. So just to give you that idea. So following the sales does pay off in the end, I promise. And it is kind of your first step, your first line. Another one though are keeping an eye on just clearance items. Am I even in a store that offers clearance items? So most of you know I love Publix. I mean, I grew up in Florida, so Publix kind of feels like it's in my blood. I've been getting cookies at Publix since I was a little kid, and now my kids get them. Publix does not offer clearance meat. So if you've got other grocery stores in town, you may be a Publix person. You may be, a Kroger person even, whatever your store is. But if I am a 100% Publix person, I would encourage you to look at a second store just for going in and looking for clearance meat deals. Because clearance meat deals, they pay off. I love clearance meat deals. I love even more double clearance meat deals. You know what? It didn't sell at $4. I will gladly buy this at $2. So this needs to be what you're looking for. Now, obviously the stickers are different based on the store that you're in, but anyone that is near me, you should recognize that as a Lowe's Foods markdown. This is half of my freezer, not meatloaf meat mix, but Lowe's Foods clearance meat. So it's finding whatever store makes you happy, whatever store has the most clearance markdowns, and work in those sales as best you can. This is a blend of beef, pork, and veal. This would still work great in chili. And if you don't plan to make a meatloaf, that's okay. My husband actually doesn't like meatloaf. I think it was a item served a lot when he was growing up. But the rest of my crew loves a meatloaf. So this gets tucked away for a time when dad is traveling, or it gets used in some other fashion. That's also, part of saving on meat is getting a little creative. But clearance meat for us is a huge way that we can meet our budget by hunting for those magical red stickers. So on this note, stocking up on meat. I've not only said it on the sale side, but obviously on the clearance side. There's a few things that this obviously presents a problem. If you have a little tiny freezer space, your stocking up options are definitely limited. This is where having extra freezer space does pay off. Having that extra freezer space needs to be something that you are very conscious of using, though. So it's not like we're sending these great buys to exile. We want to remember that we put them in the freezer. We want to try to eat from the freezer. So if I come home with some really great meat deals, it doesn't mean that you need to turn around and eat your clearance meat right now. It is nice that night you get home from the grocery store to deal with whatever meat is fresh and I don't have to thaw it. But I really want the fresh meat to end up in the freezer. I need to eat what's in the freezer, guys. So don't just constantly eat what you're bringing home here. We have to eat from what we've stockpiled. It's the same way you would deal with your pantry, right? If I'm bringing home canned goods or I'm bringing home something that is a pantry item, I need to eat from what's already in my pantry and tuck the newer items kind of towards the back. That's our goal. So same for your freezer items so that you're not just putting them out of sight and out of mind and forgetting that you have them out there. They need to be worked into the plan, not forgotten. Now, one thing with no matter where you're putting these, whether it's in the inside freezer or the outside freezer, a big rule of thumb here, this guy, he is not your friend. Anything that goes in a zipper freezer bag is only good for 6 weeks. After 6 weeks, this is freezer burnt. This is no good. You could maybe salvage it, but it is not going to be near what it was. This needs to be vacuum sealed. So if you are going to go deep freeze, we're going to hold on to things. This is a whole chicken, and you want to deep freeze, vacuum seal is the way to go. Vacuum seal good really up to a year now once it is vacuum sealed. I grabbed whole chicken at our US Foods Chef store, which we'll get to in a second, a whole case of them on clearance. They do run clearance deals if you have a Chef's Supply store, and vacuum sealed each one of them up. These are perfect for our Sunday lunches, and that was a grab that was over 6 months ago. But looking at this, even in me pulling it out a little bit ago and it's starting to condense, this is still perfectly sealed. No air getting into that. That's the point, is that you're keeping oxygen out. That is going to solve any sort of freezer burn. That's why we vacuum seal items, is to get all that oxygen out of the bag and to keep a seal. So big ones there. Hopefully that will help. Extra freezer space, vacuum sealer. I know I'm telling you to go and buy things, but they will pay off in the end. 2 things folks always ask when I mention those 2 things is, where can I get a vacuum sealer? So I did want to throw out 2 options for you of where I would recommend. Foodsaver.com directly, just go to foodsaver.com. They are the name brand vacuum sealer, but they run some really great sales on their website. Right now they've got just 30% off of anything, but what you'd really want to pay attention to is they do have some refurbished models that are 40% off refurbished models. These items still 30% off that aren't on the refurbished side. But you never know what you'll pop in. You never know what the sale will be, but it makes for really some of the better prices that you'll find on these items once you add in that 30%. Another option is to head to Target. Target does sell multiple brands, not just Food Savers. They have a couple on sale this week. They're running a lot of appliance deals, kitchen appliance deals, but a couple are on sale this week. And you could potentially stack this Target wise, look in your Target Circle account. I already used mine, so it won't do me any good. But a lot of red card holders in their Target Circle account will find that, mine doesn't think that I can get there. Oh well, don't look. Oh, it's because I spelled it wrong. That's funny. I can't see the URL while I type sometimes. Sorry, guys. Okay, look in your Target Circle account. As soon as you log in, you are going to find a coupon potentially at the top. I already used mine, but there will be a coupon or even a bonus. I had one yesterday. It was right here at the top for $15 off any $100 purchase. And so if you have that $15 off any $100 purchase, that could be a really great thing to use with the sale on vacuum sealers. So if you want to kind of stack a Circle offer with a sale, you'd be there. This guy right here is on sale for $119. He's normally $149, and then you get another $15 off. So that Circle offer, I will tell you, is different based on every account. So I've seen some folks have 10 off 60. I had a 15 off 100. Whatever you might end up having, it's still worth it if you're looking for a deal. So just to go ahead and hit that one in case that was your next question. Where can I get a vacuum sealer? Another place to look if you're wanting to just keep your eye out for various deals is Bed Bath & Beyond. I know they're closing a lot of stores, but they still run their website. And using the 20% off Bed Bath & Beyond coupon with some vacuum sealers does make for a decent price as well. So lots of options. Food Saver directly, Target, Bed Bath & Beyond. Those would be my top 3 choices. Oh, and thank you. So Kelly's also chiming in and saying that Sam's Club also has a discount on a vacuum seal bonus set. So let's go hunting for that one if I can find it. And my Sam's Club, for some reason, doesn't think I'm logged in right now. So I may not be able to show you the price. But if you have a Sam's Club membership, it would be a decent one too. Let's see what it will show. Okay, so there's the Power XL that is $49.98. You can kind of go hunting for, and then a Food Saver. This is a Food Saver for $69.98, the FM2000 for $69.98. And to compare that over here, it's 30% off. Trying to think of fast math, that would be like basically a $33 savings. So the Sam's deal is definitely a better deal in the end for this Food Saver. So thank you, Kelly, for chiming in on that. If you're looking for a deal on that Food Saver, you want to head to Sam's and order it. So way to chime in and be very timely with that deal. Karen says, I live in a small town with limited stores. I have found that Save-A-Lot has great deals on meat, and they will even slice it up for free. So that is also a very good tip for anyone in meat. Just trying to save on meat is always utilizing the butcher in the store. So if you find a really great deal, it may not even be the cut of meat that you want, but maybe you find a top sirloin roast. Well, that can still be really turned into steaks if you wanted to, or sometimes our grocery stores will run a deal on whole ribeyes. Lowe's Foods loves to do this. This is a huge piece of meat. Well, it's the same thing as ribeye steaks. So hand it to the butcher. They'll even ask, how thick would you like them to be? They'll slice them up for you, repackage it, but you will still pay the price of the whole ribeye. The big piece of it. That's not very helpful to me. Now, you can bring that home and be your own butcher, but they don't charge you. So utilize the store butcher and save yourself the headache. They have some crazy sharp knives, and I promise you their steaks are gonna look way prettier than the ones you would cut yourself. So you might as well let them do it for free and turn whatever that cut of meat is into something more usable for you. I've even done that with some really cheap clearance roasts that I'll find, knowing, you know what, I'm not really going to eat this as the type of roast that it is, but I could totally use this for stew meat or for even fajitas, and getting them, they will slice it. They do not mind. That is why they are there. So asking them to turn that meat into any way that you will more likely use it is definitely helping you in the end. So in terms of markdowns, some folks are chiming in. Wendy says that her Ingles tends to mark down on Sunday. And you were asking in terms of Lowe's Foods. I have found that honestly, the grocery stores, it tends to be when the next sale is about to start or new trucks are coming in. That's when they're marking down the stuff from last week or maybe a little further back. But finding out really from your store when they mark down is the best bet. Every store is going to have a different schedule. Some of it's just based on staffing. When they have more butcher staff, tends to be when they put out more new products, but about a week later or even less, those new products are going to need to be marked down. So they do have a routine. It's just asking your store what that routine is. One thing you also need to watch, guys, on markdown meat, in particular, not always a produce item here, but meat in particular, is if you know that you can get that meat, salmon is a really good example in my area. I know on sale, my Lowe's Foods, my Publix, they will sell salmon kind of even almost a regular price, $9.99 a pound. That's a sale price. It's a little bit on sale, but we just don't see super amazing prices on salmon. It doesn't come much lower than that, maybe $8.99 a pound. But if I see that they've put it on clearance and they've put it on clearance at $12.99 a pound, they're not factoring in the fact that it was on sale last week. They're now giving it back to you at the full price and then knocking a couple dollars off. That's not a deal. So when it comes to clearance meat, it's important that either you use the item search on Southern Savers and type in the word salmon and see what it spits back as a normal price if you don't know it, or know what is a good price for salmon, what is a good price for ground beef in my area. That does differ based on where we all live. But if I don't know what a good price is, then I can't really spot whether this markdown is a decent markdown or you're marking it down off of the full price. So do pay attention to that, because I promise you they do that. Maybe it's a butcher that doesn't know the regular price themselves, and so it seems like a great price to them. If you do find a markdown meat and you aren't thrilled with the price, it never hurts to ask. It never even hurts to explain. I've actually been in Lowe's Foods before. Salmon is on sale over here for $9.99 a pound, and it's on markdown for more than it would be if I just bought it on sale. Take it to the butcher and explain it. Say like, hey, wait a second. This is on sale this week, and that is not factored into this price. Can you adjust the sale price so that I'm still getting the 40% off of this week's sale price? They can. Now, that is not what I did here. This was them marking it down twice, but this is what it's going to look like. They're just going to print a new sticker and put it right over the top. So you can, the worst they can say is no, and then you put their clearance salmon right back where it was, but they'd really like to get rid of it. So you pointing out to them that it's a bad price, it's generally going to work in your favor. They are going to mark it down to be the percentage off of the current sale price, definitely if it's currently on sale, and help you to get a better price on that cut of meat. But to be able to do that, you needed to know what a good price was. You're not ever going to be able to argue your case if you have no clue what a good price is for that item. So I mentioned using the item search that is on Southern Savers. That is your own little price book, guys, and using that for your particular store is the best way that you can know all of these items. So for example, I'm going to zoom in here so we can all see it, but you can actually set this to just show one store. So maybe, I'm talking about Lowe's Foods. Let's go Kroger even. Maybe Kroger has some great meat markdowns. I'm a big fan of theirs as well. There's a lot more shoppers in Kroger, so you're having to kind of get there early and not miss it. But if I want to know what a good price is for those items, I can type in salmon. I can put a date back to December. I can see every sale that Kroger has run on salmon since December. And here they had Atlantic whole salmon with an e-coupon down to $7.99 a pound. $8.99 a pound. Every now and then you're going to get some dog food that mentions the word salmon, but it is going to give you an idea. Last week, $8.99 a pound. So if I'm in Kroger, I now know $8.99 a pound for the last 3 months has been the going price for Atlantic salmon. That was just searching the word salmon. And yes, I can't help it if the word salmon is also in the dog food description. You'll have to skim past those items. But it does work for ground beef. You need to think about how the store would word that. So you're not going to search for hamburger necessarily. The store is going to call that ground beef or ground chuck. You're going to search for the word steak, works too, sirloin, whatever it is that you might be hunting for. It's going to help you get a really good idea of that store's prices. Now, I can put in more than one store, by the way. I just put in Kroger. But when we're really trying to hunt meat deals, because you are going to get some things like dog food that have the word in there, it's probably better to do that on your store's basis to get an idea of that store and their price versus returning a bunch of deals across multiple stores. It's going to be a little more usable one store at a time as your own price book right there. You're able to see the historical kind of data on that particular item. You can actually do the last 6 months if you want. I think if you, in today's world with inflation, go back 6 months, you're gonna be a little frustrated. So I just go back 3 months. Just look at where it's been over the last 3 months and you'll get a much better idea of those particular items. And so Lily, along those lines, Lily's asking, has there been any news on the Albertsons and Kroger merger? I have not heard anything particular. I've seen some articles that are very for it. I've seen other articles about just some lawsuits that have already been brought up by consumers trying to be against it. So it's a really big merger. It's going to take a really long time for that one to clear. In my guess, I would say you're really not even looking at an answer on that merger probably until next year. It's all going to depend on the Federal Trade Commission and whether or not they deem that as a monopoly or not, and they allow such a large merger to take place. Diana asks, are there any of those meat order box types companies, are any of them worth the money? That is a great question. So your Omaha Steaks, Pilgrim's Pride even runs these meat order boxes, which is direct to the chicken processor. Most of them are not that great of a deal in the end. I've done the Pilgrim's Pride boxes. And they actually sent us one. And in terms of, and I might even be wrong there, I'm trying to think now on the name of it was a chicken company, but as I search for Pilgrims, that's not what's coming up. I'm having to, I'll probably think of what the name of it was here as soon as we're done. A major chicken company that they even run sales from time to time. The problem, Purdue. I had to go to my email to remember what it was. So Purdue Farms, you can direct purchase from Purdue Farms in bulk, and they do run some sales. The problem is, even then, hunting their sales, you're still not going to come out to the price that you would normally pay for that item in the store. Now, they do offer 10% off your first order, so a little chime in here. They do offer free shipping on some large packages, but here, let's go here. So this is the best at Purdue Farms. This is organic chicken. Actually, we're not even going to compare organic chicken. Let's back up. Organic is a whole another ball game for folks. So let's go just basic chicken. In my world, and the reason I'm not even going to go there is I'm not even an expert when it comes to organic. My goal is to put protein on the table. And if it doesn't fit in your budget, it doesn't fit in your budget. So we're not going to have guilt one way or the other. We're just going to feed our children. So let's compare normal, where for me, this is affordable. So the Ultimate Chicken Breast Variety Bundle, you're getting 13 pounds of chicken breast in various forms and fashion from Purdue. It does come with free shipping. You would use a coupon here to be able to get 10% off. So this is going to end up costing you about $135 in the end for 13 pounds. So fast math on that, using a calculator, to do 13 pounds, 135 divided by 13. that comes out to a lovely $10 a pound. $10 a pound. And this is on sale. This is a deal for them. This is free shipping. You wouldn't pay that in the store. You wouldn't even pay that if you bought the organic chicken in the store. So just to kind of help you to see that on a sale from Perdue Farms, it's really not going to end up working out to what you would want to do. And so what I would really encourage you to do, this one might be a better price. We're getting 5 pounds for $40. We're down to, what is that, $8 a pound with this deal. I would encourage you to always do your math, to always take what is the pound of what I've ordered, the per pound amount, and come out with that rate, and then compare that. Compare that to the grocery sales. So when it comes to the steak companies, Omaha Steak, they're tricky. And they don't give you a total pound rate when it's coming to the steak. So they'll tell you that they're going to send you 6 or 8. Let's go 8. Let's say you ordered a big box, 8 6-ounce steaks. Well, 8 times 6, for our basic math here, my brain is very dead already. I've taught math earlier this morning. So 8 times 6, 48 ounces is where we are there. You may not know your conversions, but there are 16 ounces in a pound. So 8 6-ounce steaks is equal to 3 pounds of steak. Well, in the grocery store this week, steaks on sale, some high-end steaks are a pretty good price because you're coming up to Valentine's Day. So when we search steak for this particular week, we could get ribeye steak for $12.99 a pound at Kroger. I know T-bones are on sale for $9.99 at Publix. So either way we look at this, Kroger, we would get the 3 pounds of steak at Kroger for $36, $39 really. 3 pounds of steak at Publix is going to be $30. That Omaha Steaks box with 8 6-ounce steaks is really going to be like $70. You're paying roughly between $8 and $10 a steak. So before you start to count the steaks, you need to realize what the size of those steaks is. And the fact that most of the time you're not paying per pound, you are paying per ounce almost. You're paying per piece of steak, but not a set amount of steak. So just so that hopefully that makes a little bit more sense, but it's something to watch for. It is also something to watch for. I just took some pictures and I was trying to remember where I stuck them. But I have always been one to kind of pick on Publix. I don't know where the pictures are, but we're going to pull up the Publix ad because I have no doubt that Publix is not going to fail me. And Publix routinely puts their salmon in their weekly ad. So I will pull it up just assuming that Publix is going to be so helpful and do exactly what I want them to do. They love to put things on sale and make them look on sale. But when you get to the store, you're not actually buying them. Yep, there we go. I knew they wouldn't fail me. Salmon select cuts, $7.99. And so if you're thinking, wow, that's salmon for $7.99 a pound. No, it's not. Let's see. I'm going to click see details and see if it'll actually bring it up because I can't hover over it. But right here, this line, it says that they are 5.25 ounces each. Guys, a pound is 16 ounces. So this is really less than a third of a pound. Less than a third of a pound. So if you want to know the per pound price for that salmon, you need to multiply that $7.99 times 3. You are paying $24 a pound because you're buying that salmon by the each. Never buy meat by the piece. We always want to buy meat by the pound. And look, fresh from Florida down here on sale, $12.99 a pound. Cut it up yourself. Get them to cut it up. You are going to save 50% right there. This is still farmed salmon, by the way. So $12.99 a pound, still really not a wonderful price. But compared to the $24.99 right above it, when you really look at the full price per pound, $12.99 sounding pretty good. Still not a great price, but better than it was. So no meat by the each. Knowing your prices is really, really helpful. Sorry, guys. Sometimes on meat, I can get on a little soapbox. Not even realize it. Okay. Trying to catch up here on everyone's comments. So, and my husband chimed in, I see, already answering someone's questions. Where do we get our Food Saver bags? So we usually get the off brand off of Amazon. There are a lot of brands of vacuum seal rolls, and that's really all you need to search for is vacuum sealer bags or vacuum sealer rolls. So they come in really large rolls, and then your machine usually has a cutter right there on it that you slide, and you turn that roll into lots of bags. So we've bought a few of these different brands. Really what you want to look for, as usual, is a lot of reviews and then a good amount that are great reviews. So I tend to stay away at this point on Amazon away from any product that has less than 1,000 reviews, because I feel like there's a lot of false reviews on Amazon these days. So that seems high, but believe me, it's a safe number. So stick above 1,000 reviews and then look for the things that have the highest rating. But these are all pretty great in the end. Like this guy has no reviews whatsoever. They may be great, but that's a little... Makes you take a second guess before diving into it. But these are way, way cheaper than the name brand. So it's a rare moment for me to buy name brand vacuum seal rolls. Always the Amazon kind of knockoff rolls. They work great. I haven't really had any issues at all with them. Okay. Oh, and hello, Homestead and Crazy. I haven't seen you in a while either. It's nice to have you join us tonight. Let's see. So Elizabeth saying clearance meat at Lowe's Foods. I asked the meat department and they don't do it because they have smokehouse meat. And I don't know why. It makes no sense to me. So I will say Lowe's Foods, they should still do clearance fresh meat. They're not going to smoke everything in the fresh meat section. Maybe they're trying to say that's what they're turning around and what they're smoking like in their deli in their smoke section, but they're not. So that would be a little strange, Elizabeth, that that's the answer that they would give you. Every Lowe's Foods in the Columbia area has some pretty great clearance. So hopefully you can get your store to change their tune too. And Caroline, you're asking for ground beef this coming week. I will tell you, this isn't a week for ground chuck. I'll do a hunt and see what I can find. Just even going all stores. Let's look at every single one of them. It's going to return a lot. And kind of give you all the tips here for doing that. So here's the item search again. I just hit the refresh button. Well, we'll reset up. If we put in no date whatsoever, it's going to show you all of the current sales on ground chuck. And I currently have it set to show me every single store. So I can hit show, or I can hit search. Sorry, you don't have the show HTML button. That's my button. So I've got, or even with the date out, it's still trying to remember that it had an old date in there. It's not helpful. Well, no, there are no sales in Kroger. It's not wanting to release my search. Come on, friend. No stores have ground chuck. The reason is that you're looking at an ad right now and next week that is Valentine's focus. That's where everyone's focus is, and ground chuck isn't Valentine's Day. So you're going to find steak in the current ads. I can even put in next week's date if I want for some ads that are already out, like the Publix ad is already out for next week. I'll have the Kroger ad out tomorrow afternoon. But even the Publix ad, if we look at the meat items that are in next week's ad, well, we do have 3-pound ground chuck at Publix, $3.99 a pound. But most of these things are steak, bone-in ribeye steak, $9.99 a pound. Shrimp is on sale. Those are your more Valentine's-y items if you wanted to go that route. Another place to look for meat, though, in particular, is if you do have a like a chef store or a chef supply store. So ours is called the U.S. Foods Chef Store. It's run by U.S. Foods. Gordon Food Service is available in the Southeast. You'll find some other restaurant supply stores as well. So just Google what's near you. Most of them, not all, but most, do not require that you own a restaurant. Gordon Food Service, a U.S. Chef Store, doesn't even ask who you are. Anybody can walk in the door. Anybody shops. You're just a normal person, like in a normal grocery store is what it feels like, but not a normal grocery store because they sell bulk fresh meat, bulk fresh produce. They also sell frozen at really great prices too. So I know ground beef in my area is $2.89 a pound for bulk ground beef. That comes in a 10-pound chub. If you bought even more, it goes even lower. So if you want way more than 10 pounds, that's going to get you an even better price. It is cheaper than what you're going to get at Sam's or Costco, and there's no membership. You're just a normal shopper in a normal store. So I would definitely see if you have a restaurant supply near you. The Chef Store in particular, I know in South Carolina, has a few different locations. They've also built one outside of Savannah. There's a couple in North Carolina as well now. So you may have one nearby you and not even realize that a new one has come. They do have some really great prices. So we've gotten to a lot of meat here, and I know meat is a hard one because we spend a lot on meat, but I do want to hit produce too. Sorry, I just saw one more question. Lynn asks, do I brown my ground beef before freezing? So it's kind of a yes and a no, Lynn. Sometimes I will, and I love when I do. It's like future me is so thankful that I've done that. To just go ahead and put some in the freezer pre-browned is magical. But that doesn't mean that I always have the time to do that when I come home from the grocery store. And in my book, getting clearance meat, bulk meat put up right away is way more important than browning it. And so sometimes it's how much energy do I have before I crash? And you know what, I'm just going to get this put up and I'm not going to deal with browning it. But if I do, I'm usually thankful that I did. It's just convincing the tired me that it's worth doing it. It is always helpful to get stuff put up, already cooked though. Okay, Jamie's got a tip for us. She says, I always make my bags a little longer and then reuse them after a wash. I've never tried that, Jamie, but that is a really good tip to get a second use out of any of your vacuum seal bags that you can. And yes, so Homesteading Crazy is also chiming in and saying, guys, don't forget there's canned meat. It's not as pretty, but it's just as yummy. And that's a really great tip. We do see like canned chicken actually is on sale a good bit. Valley Fresh canned chicken in particular is the brand that regularly does go buy one, get one, or on discount in both Kroger, Publix, and other large stores. So you can easily make chicken pot pies and chicken salads out of canned chicken. It's not what may not be your favorite, but it is super cheap and gets the job done if that's where we're trying to go, right? Okay, so let's talk produce for a minute. You are going to find some clearance produce from time to time. Tucking away clearance produce, if you're in those stores that offer it, is huge. And the biggest tip I can give you if you do find clearance produce is that for those items, you come home and you chop them and you get them in the freezer as soon as you come home. Clearance produce going into your fridge is a scary thing. And the odds of you getting it eaten before it goes bad are going to get pretty slim. Most clearance produce items need to be eaten within a day or two. You don't have any time to spare. You will find some deals here. Again, Lowe's Foods is by far my favorite. So I don't know if you've found any in your neck of the woods, but I will just sit there and skim the produce section. Humorously, this was probably about a month ago, but my kids needed a snack to go somewhere that night. I had a whole bunch of clearance items and I bought one not clearance veggie snack for them to take to this event. And the lady at the register is turning over and trying to figure out where the clearance sticker is on this one item because obviously it was going to be on clearance. Everything else that this lady purchased was on clearance. I actually had to tell her, no, No, that one is actually not on sale. It is just a regular produce item with no special sticker because she wasn't going to give up. So it's okay to be that person to always buy clearance item. Like, I'm here to help you out, Lowe's Foods. That is my mission, to clean out all the clearance items that you didn't sell. Okay, and then Kathy, you're right on cue, Kathy. So Kathy says, it won't help right now, but in the summer, go to Pick Farm and save so much. So a You Pick Farm, you'll find there are a lot of You Pick Farms that are not just fruits, but other items as well. You can also have your own farm. This is my favorite vegetable right here. I don't know if you can spot it. Those of you in the South should be able to spot that guy right there. Favorite vegetable. He even gets frozen, ready to go. So this is already pre-cornmeal. We don't super bread ours, but pre-cornmealed, ready to be eaten, fried okra. It hasn't been fried yet, but you know that's what we're doing with it. So having a garden, getting those items put up during the summer so that you can enjoy them throughout the rest of the year is by far the cheapest way to save on produce. And guys, I think a lot of us use excuses of not having the land space, not having, you can have even a simple garden in containers and raised beds. You do not need a ton of space for a lot of the things that you're purchasing in the grocery store. There's also a lot of things that could be in a winter garden. So how many of you guys have bagged salad in your fridge, or you're regularly buying salad, even mixes? These are winter vegetables, and we forget that, especially those of us in the South. You can be growing lettuces all winter and have really cheap salad at that point because you just kept your lettuces going. You can go an AeroGarden and have it inside if you want. The AeroGardens aren't super huge, but they can be great for just a few heads of lettuce that are going, some herbs that are going as well at the same time. And it just always having your fresh veggies right there that you're not paying for. Yes, you're having to work your garden, but it's free. And so a garden needs to be on your to-do list this year. It really needed to be on your to-do list last year. You missed that boat if you didn't do it, but it needs to be on this year. And you're actually right in the window to start getting your soil ready. If you're in the Southeast, you can even, you want to wait until late February, early March, but starting any seeds inside that you want. Most of us that are above the Florida line really don't want to put our veggies outside until April 1st for a regular summer garden, but you can definitely have them growing inside. The easiest way to do this, guys, is getting an egg carton and just pre-starting them in an egg carton, because an egg carton fits in your windowsill. You've got sunlight, you've got an egg carton, you have your veggies going. I don't recommend pre-starting every type of veggie. Beans grow crazy fast. You're going to need to get them in the ground faster than you really can put them in the ground. But your tomatoes, your peppers, they're all going to be so much happier if you start them inside, and so much cheaper. Buying plants at Lowe's and Home Depot at $3 a tomato plant is expensive when a packet of tomato seeds costs $1.29 and will make 40 tomato plants. One is much cheaper than the other. It's just that one takes some forethought. So do it. Think through it. Make your plans now. Be ready. Come beginning of March. Get them all started. Those tomato plants are going to take a good week just until they start to pop up from the dirt, and then you're still going to want them inside for another 2 weeks to get some height on them before they're going to go outside. So beginning of March is a great time to get them started. My Florida folks, I mean, y'all should have started last month, right? What is Florida really hanging around and waiting for? Your summer garden is year-round. The rest of us have to wait until that last frost, and April 1st tends to be what most extension offices say is a safe time. Your last frost has happened, and sometimes it's happened but way before then, but you just never know. So you got to wait for that last frost. April 1st becomes your magical day to push your garden outside and tell it that it is old enough and wise enough to grow on its own out in the world. Great, Diana. Could I go over co-ops and CSA farms? Yes, co-ops and CSA farms. We used to be part of an amazing produce co-op that just died one day, and it has broken my heart. Even one of my kids was like, why don't we ever go to produce anymore? Because it doesn't exist. So produce co-op is where you and a group of folks get together, you pool your money, you buy produce in bulk, and you just split it up amongst yourselves. It's actually really easy to get started, really easy to keep going, unless you have, in our situation, where someone got crazy burnout and they did all the work. They were the organizer, and so nobody could maintain it once they were gone. A CSA farm, that's actually easier to find and no work on your part. The easiest way to locate both of these, a co-op and a CSA farm, is to reach out to your local farm extension office. So think of the name of your ag school in your state. So Georgia, it's the Georgia Extension. South Carolina, it's the Clemson Extension. You get the idea here. Every county usually has an extension office, but they maintain a great list of farmers markets, co-ops, CSA farms, and they can help you get plugged into one. So a CSA farm is where you buy a share in the farm. So it is called community supported agriculture. So different farms operate this way. Some do not. So don't just walk up to some random farmer and ask to buy a share in his farm. But they'll have these mapped out. They're very specific. You'll buy a large share, a medium share, a small share. They'll tell you how many people that share will feed. Basically, what you're going to get is a basket every week that is a certain size based on what you paid of what is fresh in that farm this week. So some of them it's weekly, some of them it's every other week. Obviously, you've got a lot of questions to ask as you go hunting for one, but most of them have this very spelled out. They've been doing this for years, and they're like being part of a co-op. You're getting kind of a family-sized basket of veggies for a very affordable rate, and you're helping the farmer. The farmer has a direct sell. They don't have to take it to the farmer's market and take a huge slash in price, which is what happens. They take a huge slash in price just for the grocery store to then mark it back up. When they can sell direct to you, they get a great price, but you get a great price too. So there are definitely some perks to go straight to a farmer. So that is what CSA, or community supported agriculture, stands for. And there's a lot of CSA farms in America. So hopefully you live near one that has a share that is a size that you can handle. If they don't have a share that is a size you can handle, maybe you go in with a friend and you split it up. But most of them have smaller shares. Another resource, my husband totally beat me to it. If you head to localharvest.org, put in your zip code and it will show you any farms, CSA farms, co-ops that have listed themselves on that site. So they're not necessarily like your local extension office. They may actually know a few more, but Local Harvest will give you a quick oversight of what is available in your area. I hear you, Wendy. Wendy says, I've never planted a vegetable garden. However, I paid $2.38 for one tomato, and it wasn't even a large one. And I have now threatened to plant tomatoes. You should. Tomatoes are actually crazy easy to plant. And honestly, once you plant them, next year and the year after, you're going to end up with some volunteer plants. That's where you didn't plant them, but they came back, and you will get more tomato plants. As long as you can keep bugs off of them, tomatoes are the perfect plant to make everyone feel like they are a gardener, because they will do really, really well. Okay, trying to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Oh, Kathy, really great tip. She says Dollar Tree has seeds for 25 to 50 cents a pack. So even cheaper than Lowe's and Home Depot. It's the way to go. And Donna chimes in and says a Cherokee Purple is the best tomato. I will say, Wendy, I have a kiddo who is all into botany and has been researching a lot of things. And she was informing me that the sweetest tomato is a tomato that is more yellow, and that they've now bred tomatoes to be bright red and like the beefsteak tomato, and they tend to not have any flavor because we've almost bred the flavor out of them, preferring for the redness rather than the flavor. So going with those kind of ugly heirloom, maybe that purple, that yellow tomato might actually be a really, really great flavor. I'm also really partial to green tomatoes with a little pimento cheese in between them, fried up. It's pretty amazing. Between my fried okra and my fried green tomatoes, though, I don't know if I can even portray being more Southern for you guys. Those are two very favorite items out of our garden. Always happy to eat the tomatoes before they ripen up. And Donna, great question. What's the best way to treat your soil before planting? So hands down, Donna, I would recommend before you even start to treat your soil, call your local extension office. Again, you can just Google this, the name of your county and extension office, and see what kind of things they offer. So many extension offices offer some basic soil testing for free. Some of them will have some more advanced soil testing that's still like crazy cheap, $7 or $8 to run these soil tests for you. But the reason to do that is that they will tell you what your soil is missing and exactly what to add to it. You may find that you don't actually need to add a lot. A lot of times in the South, adding lime, they'll kind of give you a list of things that you can go through. But they are hands down your go-to. And most of the things they're going to tell you, you're not going to need to pay them for their knowledge. They're there as a taxpayer resource. So enjoy it and get them to treat your soil or to test your soil so you know what you're treating and you're getting it all set. I will tell you, we go a little more low key sometimes. And we have a chicken coop, and the soil from the chicken coop is by far the best thing to add to the garden. So going in with shovels and a wheelbarrow, taking some and then tilling that into the garden, you've kind of done all the work that you needed to do, or just releasing the chickens to sit there and pick through the garden for a week or so can do the trick too. But you use whatever you have. Those are some great sources for you. Okay, I think I've caught on everybody's questions here. I love all you guys chiming in on your favorite tomatoes. We're going to have to make a list of them and try them out. We are a very big tomato family. Okay, so some other things for fresh produce. One thing in particular, and this may not sound like something I would normally tell you guys, but frozen, if you're like, you know what, Jenny, we've been talking about gardens and I am not going to plant a garden, that's okay. It hurts my heart a little, but it's okay. I would encourage you to still look for some either clearance produce items or to look at already frozen in bulk. So this is where you can put your Costco or your Sam's membership to good use. Honestly, Costco wins here a little bit better than Sam's. Sam's does have a decent freezer section, but I feel like so much of Sam's freezer section is really catered to like fast serve foods, already prepared foods. There's not a lot of just basic produce items at Sam's, some, but nowhere near what Costco has. So if you have a Costco membership or you share one, thanks Mama who lets me chime in and slip in on her Costco membership, they sell a lot of bulk frozen veggies that are actually really great prices. The local chef store does as well. You do not have to have a Costco membership there. So if you've got a restaurant supply store, they're also selling bulk frozen veggies at really great prices, even down to, guys, these things have like zipper bags at the top so you can take what you need and put it back in. Your Costco wise, you're gonna find a lot of organic selection as well. That's a big focus for them in the frozen veggies section at prices that you really cannot touch in the grocery store. So just to put that out there as an option for buying just bulk frozen veggies. Now, grocery store wise, I would point you to those Green Giant boxed veggies. Hands down, we've seen a lot of great sales on them, about $1 a piece after the sale. And in my opinion, there's more in those box frozen veggies than is in a can of Green Giant canned veggies. I can pull out a box of those frozen veggies and stretch it across 5 of us, sometimes all 7 of us, very, very easily. I cannot do that with a can of veggies. So if I open up a can of veggies for our crew, which is 7 people, it's going to take 2 cans to make that veggie last. And you know, this is just fast dinner, guys. Fast dinner exists in a house with 5 kids. You get a meat, you get a starch, you get a veggie. That exists a lot. So whether that's canned or frozen, I tend to go with those Green Giant $1 boxed veggies a lot. And sometimes we eat 2 a night. So sometimes it's this veggie and a different veggie and everybody gets a little bit of both. But I can easily serve everybody. Everybody's getting enough from both of those boxes to feel like they had a chunk of each. Makes me happy. So I don't buy them unless they're buy one get one or $1 a piece. Right now they're $1 at Lowe's Foods and buy one get one at Publix, so you can decide which one you want to go to. I know Kroger runs them on sale a fair bit too. House brand veggies not always on sale. I don't mention a lot of house brands for that reason. And lately the Bird's Eye does not hit the prices of the Green Giants. So those would just be the brands to watch for. Okay, homesteading crazy. Do I can, dehydrate, freeze dry? And how do I preserve our garden? So we tend to just vacuum seal. I have canned in the past, both just water canning right on the stove in a big stock pot and pressure canning. I've tried both. I'm actually a big fan of water canning only because I feel like it's almost less complicated. It just takes a really big pot. And I've used towels in between the jars, hand towels. They're in water. They're not going to burn in between the jars so that they don't hit each other. So you can go super low key here. Mostly what we can is tomatoes and pickles. I don't like pickles, but my husband loves them. So whenever we have cucumbers or I in the garden or I get bulk cucumbers, I can guarantee you he is going to make quick lime pickles and loads of them. He's also canned okra. He gets in trouble for that. Okra should only be eaten in one way in my book. So he'll actually plant half of a garden full of okra just for me. That is how much I love fried okra. So occasionally okra gets turned into some pickles and canned, but that's pretty much it. Pickles and tomatoes is all we can. I do not dehydrate. We've tried a little bit, but it's just not something we've really done a lot of. So we mostly just freeze, vacuum seal and freeze or can if we're going to put up. Okay. We hit a lot of stuff tonight. It's been actually very awesome going through everything. So hopefully this is going to help some of you guys. Again, yes, we hit all the clearance meat and ways to find those clearance meat items, stocking up on them, and then even hitting some produce items. So these are areas where we can still get a lot of items and save a lot of money without using a coupon. I know that coupon doesn't exist. But we can still save on them. You know, in terms of those clearance items too, I didn't hit on it, but the big one to not miss is holiday sales. So you're not going to find a clearance turkey anytime now. It doesn't exist. Most of the stores don't even sell them. So come Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, I want to grab that spiral cut ham, that turkey. You don't need them anymore. The holiday's over. But you do want to get them and put them in the freezer. So don't forget about those items too. Not just our normal, everyday, whatever they marked down items, but even your holiday items when they are on markdown, just so that you're not missing them. It's a long haul until you're going to find that ham deal again. So just don't miss it. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. I'll be back on tomorrow at 1 o'clock for all the deals that are running in CVS and Walgreens. So make sure you can catch that one if you can't catch it live. It's always recorded and you can watch it after the fact. If you've got questions or even tips on how to save on meat and produce, keep adding them to the comments. The comments stick around on both Facebook and on YouTube. So feel free to keep sharing your tips. Even if you're watching this 4 days from now, it always helps other folks to see what your tips are. We always can learn from each other. So thanks for joining me tonight, guys. I hope you all have a great night, and I will talk to you again soon.